Hey, this is Samantha here from RecipeThis.com and the voice behind the popular Kitchen Gadgets podcast, Magic with Gadgets. Today I wanted to show you just how easy it is to cook air fryer sweet potato slices. These are fantastic for on top of a hot pot. They're also fantastic for a quick snack and are just something that's a good alternative to some fries that you can cook in the air fryer. Well, before we dive into this recipe, I just wanted to suggest that you head over to RecipeThis.com. We've got more than 1,200 kitchen gadget recipes, including recipes for the air fryer, instant pot, slow cooker, soup maker, bread maker, microwave, Ninja Foodie, and many others. We also have a free weekly newsletter, which you can find on the homepage of RecipeThis.com, or you can find it on RecipeThis.com/newsletter. And there you can get our best kitchen gadget recipes sent to your inbox every Friday morning. And of course, if you follow Paleo, Whole30 and such like, then it's perfect for this too. So, what do you need? Well, you will need some sweet potatoes, go with medium to large. And you'll also need some extra virgin olive oil, salt and pepper, parsley and rosemary. I also recommend having some sort of measuring device for measuring out your extra virgin olive oil so you don't add too much. A tablespoon is the most that you really need for this recipe. And then to get everything mixed in nicely and to make sure everything's well coated, a big mixing bowl as well. So that's what we'll be using today. So let's get started, shall we? So first of all, the boring task of sorting out all your sweet potatoes. A lot of people say skin on, skin off. Thing is, there's nothing wrong with the skin. It's obviously not as nice as what you get on a white potato, but it's perfect for cooking with if you want to. I personally prefer my sweet potato slices without the skin on, but it's totally personal choice and it can speed you up if you keep the skin on. And of course you can use the orange sweet potatoes or you can use the white ones. When I lived in Portugal, my next door neighbour used to grow them and hers were always the white ones. And whenever we went to the supermarkets in Portugal as well, they were always the white ones. I can't remember which recipe it was, but I shared a recipe recently on Facebook and somebody said to me, they were looking at one of my sweet potato recipes, oh, we've never seen white ones before. And I'm like, really? I thought they were all white. But I prefer the orange ones. And they're easy to cook with. So that's 2 down. 1 more to go. Right, there we go. That's the 3 of them peeled. Now for slicing, you're aiming for a thin slice if possible. So be careful of those fingers as you slice it. So if you think about it for a slice, then this is absolutely perfect. Load them into your bowl. You'll always end up with these little straggly bits, but they can go with your skin towards some vegetable stock if you wanted. And then you can just leave to one side the end bits, you know, because you know it's like sometimes it ends up too thin on the slice. So for slices, you're looking for something like that, and that's just perfect. And then the last potato. And there we go. Loads and loads of sweet potato there. I tend to avoid the thicker bits because what happens is as you're cooking it, you end up with some of the bits that are way too thick, some that are too thin, and you want an equal cook on them. So the closest to the same you can get throughout, the better. So first in, your salt and pepper. I do recommend sea salt. It's so nice on your food and better for you than the cheapo table salt. And then loads of parsley. loads of rosemary. And then the last ingredient to add, of course, is your extra virgin olive oil. So like I say, always use a measuring cup, because otherwise you end up putting too much oil in the air fryer. And the air fryer is all about saving us the calories on the oil. So I recommend 1 tablespoon in your favourite cup, and in it goes. And then this is when you get your hands dirty and get them in a really good mix. Look, for example, I've got a rogue piece of sweet potato there that's got way too much seasoning on. So you just want to make sure you've got a really good spread. You see, if you throw them in the bag and just mix them in Ziploc, you just don't get the same good mix on them as what you do with your hands. So once you've done that, put in the air fryer basket and load them in. And then what I recommend is just a quick shake, just so that they're spread out in the air fryer basket. And then in it goes. We're looking for 190 Celsius, that's 360 Fahrenheit, and a cook time of 15 minutes. Though before I start it, I just want to mention, if you head over to recipethis.com and search for sweet potato slices, you can find the recipe in full over there, in case I'm talking too fast for you and you want the exact measurements of everything. And then of course press start. And we've beeped. So let's check on our sweet potato slices. And wow, don't they look absolutely fantastic? I highly recommend that when you're doing recipes like this, that in between you give the air fry basket a good shake like this, and then it frees any that are stuck. And then also what you can do is you can do the fork test, and you can see how fork tender they are so far and if they need any longer. And you'll notice that the thinner the sweet potatoes are, the more likely they'll go curly, like crisps go, or as they call them in America, chips. So if you have a look at the crispiness that's developing, it's coming along great. So now, back in. Increase the temperature up to 200 Celsius, that's 400 Fahrenheit. And the cook time to another 5 minutes, and then press start. So let's check our sweet potatoes. Wow. And they have got a fantastic colour on them. They absolutely look amazing. And on close up, load them into a dish for you. And that's exactly what they look like when you've air fried them. Remember, this is just 20 minutes to do delicious sweet potato slices. But the downside of this recipe, it has to be mentioned, you know, is that rosemary, everybody complains about it, that it gets in the teeth. Well, it also gets into the bottom of the air fryer. Take a look at that for a clean up. Unfortunately, it happens all the time whenever we cook anything with rosemary in the air fryer. The same goes for thyme, or if you're Spanish, you'll call it tomillo. But if you don't like that kind of mess in there and you want to avoid that, then you can swap the rosemary for something like tarragon or for sage, and it will do a much better job. So trying these out, like what I said, what's the greatest thing is the thinner ones, because they come like crisps and they're absolutely lovely. So if you're not afraid of a mandolin, I am. I really don't like them, and I'm always convinced I'm going to lose fingers. If you're not afraid of them, or if you have a special slicer, then I recommend you do this recipe with a slicer, and then you can achieve that kind of look. And crunch on them is absolutely amazing. And even on the bigger ones, you've still got a nice, lovely crisp on them. So they're all really, really good. And like I say, you can put this on top of casseroles. You can make a hot pot with it, and you can just snack on it as an alternative to some fries. Thanks so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to the Recipe This family. You can find us on Twitter, Facebook and Pinterest. We also have a weekly newsletter at recipethis.com/newsletter, where we share with you our latest kitchen gadget recipes, what we're cooking in the Milner kitchen, and so much more. As well as this, we recommend that you subscribe to our YouTube channel, and then whenever we have a new video, you will be the first to know. And if you want to know about all our future videos, then I recommend you hit the bell for instant notifications. But even better, we now have a podcast. It's called Magic with Gadgets. Simply search Magic with Gadgets on your favourite podcast player and you'll find us there.